Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're taking a first look at a game that's coming out today called Through the Darkest of Times. It's a game about resistance in early Nazi Germany, so starting I think in 1933, and you lead a small group of people trying to fight against the Nazis as they're coming to power and as their influence and their laws and their control over Nazi Germany grows and the mob sort of rises up with them. You are fighting a struggle against them to expose the evils, the horrors of this burgeoning regime in an attempt to push back against it. This game comes out today. It's made by Paint Bucket Games, and I don't know much about it beyond that. It has an interesting sort of dark, simplistic kind of an art style that I think is intriguing. But let's go ahead, let's jump into the intro, and then we'll start a game.
I remember when Adolf Hitler was appointed Chancellor in 1933, the masses cheered. But we were not among them. We knew that the times would be bad now. We knew that the Nazi threats were not empty. That those people meant what they said. We had to do something. We couldn't just stay silent. But we also knew that it can cost us our heads.
Okay, so that's the intro here. Let's go ahead and jump in to our first game. So there are two options to how you can play this game. You can play resistance mode or story mode. In resistance mode, it looks like you need to watch every step. Police and Gestapo are on high alert. The members of your group are always on the edge of leaving. No save games, no going back. So resistance mode is basically Iron Man mode, and story mode is presumably an easier difficulty. Explore the stories of the game. The game is more forgiving. Every turn is saved. So we'll go with story mode, just because I do want to continue this. So I think that'll be a better way to play. This is the character you'll play. If you're happy with the name, gender, occupation. Wait. Okay. I got it. I understand. So, I have to create my character. So, do I not get to name him? So I can get like a randomized character, but I can change things about them. Let's see. So this person is Hera Tietz, a 26-year-old unemployed social democrat. I can hit new again, and I can become Eugene Thumb, a 35-year-old businessman and a national conservative. Daniela Altman, a 33-year-old storewoman and Christian liberal. Bruno Mueller, an artist, an anarchist. So you can kind of just randomly click through here. It doesn't look like I can actually choose my name or my sort of alignment, so I think you just kind of have to keep going through here and see what you get. I'm guessing he's a veteran of World War I, because that looks like a World War I German army cap. So I think we'll keep this guy. He's a 30-year-old teacher, a Catholic, and a conservative. We can adjust things. Oh, so you can adjust the hat. Never mind. So that doesn't necessarily represent that they were a World War I veteran. But I like the hat, so we'll keep that. Eyes can be, a wide range of colors. I do like the art style of this, where the eye is like the one piece of you that's colored. I don't know. We'll go with brown. And you can kind of do all this other stuff. I don't really care what any of my traits look like. I like the bandage. We'll go with that. Looks like a leather jacket. Okay, so we'll go ahead and click forward. We will not be silent. We are your guilty conscience. The resistance will not leave you alone. Okay. Chapter 1, Seizure of Power. Stop the regime. Okay. Yeah, it's a really interesting art style where they really call out the eyes as being one of those things that sets people apart, which I think is kind of neat. It's the old saying of the eye is a window into the soul. On January 30th, 1933, President Paul von Hindenburg appointed Adolf Hitler to be Chancellor of Germany. That same night, still, 3 friends met in the back room of a Berlin pub and commit to resist what is about to come. Everywhere in Germany, ordinary people, friends, and families made the same commitment, risking their lives to help others fight an inhumane regime. This is their story. I don't know if it's fair to say everywhere in ordinary Germany people were resisting Nazi Germany, but certainly there were some, certainly at this point still. Okay. Okay, so it looks like I get a -10 morale buff. Hitler's chancellor. Centrum talks with Hitler. The Conservative Centrum Party has a number of questions on how the new chancellor plans to continue certain policies. By the election results, a new right-wing conservative government led by Hitler should see a number of Centrum ministers. So far, Hitler has not answered. So essentially, the conservatives have aligned with the Nazi Party to bring Hitler into power. Essentially, the German government is a government where you have to have a majority of their version of the House to rule. So it's a parliamentary system. Those of you who aren't familiar with it, it's not 2 parties. There's more than 2 parties, which means that a lot of times you can have a party that has the most seats in the office, but doesn't actually have enough to form a government. They don't have more than 50% of the seats, and so in this case, the conservatives made an agreement with the Nazis to bring them into power to form a majority government, so they didn't have to work with the socialists or with the communists, and as a result, that's how the Nazis came to power. They never had a majority of votes. All right, the SA marches. Tens of thousands of stormtroopers, SA brown shirts, march through Brandenburger. Okay, so newspaper articles. Let's see here. February 1933. When I enter our secret meeting place, I hear Gerhard Meiser say, "They made him Chancellor Hitler. This is a disaster. How could President Hindenburg appoint him?" Okay. So we knew this would happen. What should we do now? What is missing? We have no time. All right, so it looks like there's 2 other folks in our little back hall area. We've got this map of Berlin. We've got Frieda Altman, and we've got Gerhard Meisner. We have no time. We need to convince more people to support our cause before we draw any attention to ourselves. They're just waiting for a reason to have people like us arrested. I don't know. I don't know enough about Nazi Germany to know if people recognized Hitler being selected chancellor immediately was a problem. Certainly, I'm sure some people who were most vulnerable to his whims may have already known this. Don't you think so too? Gerhard asked me. I think you're right. We need more supporters first. Frieda's right. We need to act fast. Yeah, let's act fast. All right, so this is obviously kind of a dialogue type game. On the right side of the screen, you've got what the different people are saying. It probably would be benefited more. I prefer like the play style where you have the name on the left of who's speaking. That's easier to follow to me. We're 3 people against an entire state. That's insane. We need a bigger network first. You're right, but we need to act or no one will hear about us. Why should people support us if all we do is hiding? We need to act, I say. So what is the most important task right now? Helping the persecuted, finding the truth, and spreading the word, fighting the regime. I think finding the truth and spreading the word is probably the most important thing right now when you only have a few people. So if you can find the truth and reprint it or something, that's going to give you more power than just fighting the administration with 3 people. So the Nazis are criminals, but we can't prove it yet. We need documents and spread the truth. Okay, so that's the end of the scene. So this is me right here. We can read the news, which I think we already looked at. That is. We can plan missions. These are the 2 other people in our group. So it doesn't look like I have any other options other than reading the news, seeing who's who, and planning missions. So let's go ahead and plan the missions. Indeed, German politics were incredibly messy in this period of time. It's a little more complex than just one party partnering with another party because Weimar Germany was a complete mess. All right, on the city map, you'll plan your group's actions by sending them on missions and getting an overview of members, items, supporters, and morale. Got it. All right, so it looks like we have 3 green things. We can find a new member, collect donations from the Kreisberg, and we can talk to workers. Each one of these appears to have a different amount of information here on the left side. So, for example, if we collect donations from the Kriegsberg, on the left side, required skill, I don't really know what that graphic means. It shows a heart and it shows a megaphone. The risk is very low. It takes 1 week and requires 1 to 3 members. Finding a new member requires, I guess, a speech-looking skill. Risk very low, takes 1 week, 1 to 3 members. And then talking to workers is also very low risk. It takes 1 to 3 members. So by the looks of it, we need the sort of heart skill for certain people, which apparently is empathy. We need the talking skill, which is propaganda. So it looks like different people in our resistance group have different talents. Myself, Bert Herzog, is a level 3 secret person, level 2 empathy, and level 4 literacy, so the common knowledge of my character. Meanwhile, Frida Altman is level 3 secrecy, level 3 strength, level 3 literacy. Gerhard Meisner is level 2 empathy, 4 propaganda, and 3 literacy. So if we hover over the talk to workers, he needs to have empathy, and he needs to have the speaking icon there. He's good at speaking, and he's equally good at talking to workers, at least equally good as myself. So if I click on this, I can assign... Got it. So I click on this, I can assign someone. Okay, so the mission is Henrik Bodke, a worker and supporter of the group, wants to introduce us to some of his workers. So we want to go ahead and assign... I didn't see what it said for Gerhard. He said I can do this. So we'll go ahead and assign Gerhard Meisner to the mission. Preparation is a moderate amount. Danger is low. Looks like there's gains in terms of supporters. I don't know what this means. 4 to 6 supporters, I guess. It unlocks the ability to buy paint, buy paper, produce leaflets. Gives a +2 morale. Doesn't cost anything. It'll hurt our relations, I guess, with freelancers, white collar, and academics. Oh my god. Anyway, so this is what we can do. It doesn't look like it costs anything, but theoretically we could use money, intelligence, or a bicycle to help. We can also assign other people to the mission. So if I went ahead and sent Frida in, it would increase our preparation. And it would increase the amount of gains that we get. I could send myself in there as well, which would give us a much better level of preparation. You can see we'd be green, and we'd get 5 to 8 gains. If I send everybody in... I mean, Frida doesn't really help our preparation there all that much. So I think we'll just confirm this with Gerhard and Bert. And go from there. So we've got this one mission. We also have our headquarters. This is the place where we plan our action. So this is obviously a map of Berlin here, the Kreuzberg, and the different parts of the city. There's unknown missions throughout Germany that we haven't unlocked yet, I guess. So our other options here are collect donations from the Kreuzberg and also find a new member. Find a new member requires secrecy and empathy. Frida's bad at the empathy part, but we're going to send her over there. We need to find candidates we can trust who are willing to join our group, who don't give away that we are recruiting for the resistance. So we'll go ahead and assign... Oh, she's red. She's not very good, actually. Cancel. What about collecting donations? She's a lot better at collecting donations. I don't fully understand like what all of the different helpful, harmful impacts are, but it looks like we might gain a little bit of money from doing this. And some morale. So we'll send her off to collect donations, and we'll go ahead and we'll send Gerhard and myself off to talk to the workers. So it's February 1st, 1933. We'll go ahead and end our planning. It doesn't look like we've already looked at our inventory over here on the side. We've already looked at our inventory on the side. We also have contacts, which apparently we don't have any yet. So let's go ahead and end this phase, and we'll see what the execution of the plan yields. So the results of the week of February 1st to February 8th, 5 people are still supporting us. Our supporters donated 2 marks to our group. Wow. All right, so that's before the mission, I guess. Gerhard Meisner meets with coworkers of our supporter in Kreuzberg and talks to them to see if someone would be willing to help us. It turns out there are still people not happy about the regime and willing to do something about it. It looks like we talked to 6 supporters, I'm guessing. Meanwhile, Frida Altman visits the group known supporters among the workers in Kreuzberg and asks for additional donations. She's successful. People are upset about the latest atrocities of the regime and are willing to help the group. We get 12 marks from that mission. It's already dark as I ride home on my bike. The streets are empty and ice-cold wind sneaks its way through my scarf. I burrow my face deeper into my scarf or I pedal harder. So this is very much like a narrative, choose-your-adventure type story. In the distance, I can see a group of men ganging up on someone, shouting at him. Head for the group. What's going on there? There are 3 men, all wearing the brown shirts and swastika armbands of the SA. They are surrounding a civilian. Get off the bike and move closer. Turn around and move home. Get off the bike and move closer. Oh, okay. So they're yelling at him because he's a Jew. Dirty Jew yells loudest when he steps forward and pushes the man so hard he falls to the ground. Hurry toward them, approach carefully, turn around, and leave. I guess we'll approach closely. I'm going to get myself killed right away. He loses his hat, and I see that he's wearing a kippesh beneath it. That is Rudolph. Show him, cheers another one. Interfere, keep a safe distance, and watch, turn around, and leave. We're going to interfere! We must help him! I shout, what is going on here? Leave him alone. The group slowly moves toward me, forgetting the old man for a moment. What do you want? Demands Rudolph. Mind your own business and piss off. Should I threaten them, attack them, or calm them down? Let's calm them down. Let's see what they say. Come on, guys. No reason to get so upset. Should you be celebrating? Why all this violence? While I talk to the group, the old man quietly gets up and moves away from us. Continue talking? You won, didn't you? Your Germany is going to be great again. The guy they call Rudolph steps closer, both hands at his belt. I can smell his breath. You, the thug says. You better bugger off right now or you will seriously regret it. It's a new day. You people can't oppress us any longer. Okay, well, the old guy ran away, so he's safe, so I guess I'll just agree with him and leave then, right? I think the Jew is gone. Should I run to my bike or play stupid? They're gonna blame me, right? Let's play stupid. Sneak to my bike. I will pay for this. Laugh at him? Just laugh and pedal faster. As fast as I can. I only slow down when I can't hear their angry voices anymore. Do I have to get used to these things happening, or I will never get used to these things happening? I don't think I would ever get used to something like that. Okay, so that's an interesting little scene that just occurred. Morale declined by 10 due to the press release, but the missions gave us +4 morale, so it was only a -6, and we gained 6 from our supporters, plus a little bit of money. Parliament is dissolved! At Hitler's wish, Hindenburg dissolves Parliament. All members of the House lose their seat. The Chancellor forms a preliminary interim government before new elections. The emergency decrees, so-called emergency decrees, massively limit freedom of assembly and speech. Hitler's newly expanded powers can be used to shut down protest and quash any critical press. And Hitler is speaking with his generals, high-ranking military officials, discussing the need to rebuild the army and expand to the east. Well, that's fast. In the middle of the meeting, Frida Altman addresses the group. Everyone, there's public protest against the Nazis coming up. This is a good chance. We can spread the word. We can recruit others. People willing to protest are exactly the people you need. I guess you're right. All right, so join public protest. A variety of groups have announced. Okay, I didn't. It all went away. Okay. By paper, join public protest. We need empathy in speech. It's probably ideal for Gerhard. Low risk. Buying paper is very low risk. Talking to workers, very low risk. Collecting donations, very low risk. Finding a new member is very low risk. But it costs money. We have 11 supporters up here on the top. Our goal is to get to 20 for something. Our morale is 59. So if we join the public protest, the Social Democratic Party is going to hold a public protest against Hitler and the Nazis in the Tiergarten. So Gerhard's probably our best option, so we'll put him there. Put myself there. And Frida... We can't even get to, like, a green level of... Intel increases the danger? I don't quite understand that. Okay, so we're going to share information about the Nazis. Okay, we'll assign a little bit of money to the mission. It doesn't look like... the bike helps me at all. Does it lower the danger a little bit? It does lower the danger a little bit. I won't bring the bike. I don't think I need it. Alright, so we'll see what happens here. We're assigning everybody to this mission. Do we have any contacts? No. Okay. Okay, so as this extends the current planning phase, starts the execution, yeah. We're going to the protest. I'm spending the afternoon with a friendly couple and the Elwangers who have invited me over for coffee and cake. Hubert and Annegret are also members of the church I attend. Unfortunately, the conversation turns to politics. After all, says Hubert, while I know that our church isn't too happy about it, I don't really think there's anything wrong with Hitler. How so? Sure, Hitler has some controversial views regarding the church, but I think he is taking care of a problem that is much worse than the Nazis. What would that be? The communists who walks in with a pot of coffee and takes a seat. The communists are the real threat, don't you think? Would you like some coffee, Bert? The communists aren't in power. What about the violence? What about the Jews? The communists are not in power. Praise the Lord, it wasn't the communists. Stalin and his compatriots are just waiting to take over Germany. Look at what they did to the Christians over there. Besides, who are these people who disagree with Hitler? Almost all of them are communists. More coffee? What about the violence? They torture and murder their opponents. This is wrong. You must agree with me. Here, I say. A whip is for the horse, a bridle for the donkey, and a rod for the back of the fools. People who disobey and attack their new leaders can't expect anything else. How do you like the cake? What about the Jews? I don't see a problem. After all, it was the Jews who killed our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Oh, God. This is going to be, I mean, obviously the topic of this game is very dark, so you're going to be fighting against stuff. Thanks for the cake, I guess. I'll see you in church. Okay, so we lost one supporter. 10 people are still supporting us. Our donations group gave us 3 more marks. And now we are going to the protest. We join the 200,000 protesters who gathered in Berlin at the Lustgarten Park to protest the speakers. Ask the crowd for discipline and unity in registering or resisting the Nazis. Do not worry, there are too many of us. Hitler and his henchmen can't stop us. We talked to other protesters, and some are willing to support us in the future. So we gained 9 supporters by the looks of it. Our 3 folks are there. So plus 9, weekly decline, so we get 8 more, plus 10 morale. So we actually have a positive increase of morale this month of 5, or this week. And we move into another week. So that seems to be the general gist of the game, is you get options to do missions, things happen, you have dialogue, you have interactions, and then you kind of see what happens from there. So we'll play another turn here. The Tageblatt. Kohlwitz steps down. Heinrich Mann and Kathy Kohlwitz step down from their positions within the Prussian Academy of Arts under pressure from the Nazis. There's a new right-wing coalition. The DNVP and the Stalin established the Kampffront Schwarz-Weiß-Rot. They will participate in the March elections and build a coalition with the Nazis. Hitler speaks at Sportplatz. Opens the NSDAP election campaign with a speech in the Berlin. I'm assuming that's the stadium. All right, so we reached a checkpoint here. I don't have any dialogue here from our people, so we just jump right into planning missions. You can see here the group morale up here is at 59. Our supporters are at 19, so we've almost reached the next level, if you will. We don't have paper to produce leaflets, so I can't do that. I can go buy paper. It'll cost us 20 marks. The required skills are empathy and literacy. I guess I would be the best option for that. So we'll just send me for that. And then talk to workers, collect donations, meet a friend, or find a new member. Let's talk to workers with the other two folks here. Frida's kind of crappy at most of these early missions. All right, so we lose one supporter, so we still have 18 are still supporting us, and we get 5 marks from our 18 supporters. So now on to the actual results. Frida Altman meets with coworkers of our local supporters in Kurtzburg, talks to these, see if someone would be willing to join us. There are still some people not happy about the regime, so that should push us over 20, so I guess we'll see what that does. I don't know. And then I go to buy paper. I pick a shop in the Kurtzburg where no one knows me. The clerk takes the order, disappears in the back. While Bert waits for the counter, after some time the clerk returns with the paper, so I get 2 paper. Our morale drops by 6, so it seems like there's a weekly decline of morale of 10 every week, and there's different things that can impact that. But presumably that means our morale will be down to 59, but we gain 5 supporters from our missions. And then we move on to the next week. The SA and the SS form a new police force. Hitler meets industry leaders, and Oskar Maria Graf leaves Germany. The famous writer Oskar Maria Graf goes on a lecture tour to Austria and decides he won't return to Germany. Thessian Krupp and a number of high-ranking German business leaders agree to support the NSDAP. Oh, great. Well, we work in a factory, right? Frida Altman takes me aside after the meeting, looking nervously over her shoulder. What is it? Listen. When a man loves a man or a woman loves a woman, do you believe that is wrong? Okay. Frida, are you... I don't care. No, I guess. I think love is love no matter who is loving whom. And there's a relieved smile on her face. Okay, so I'm guessing she's a lesbian? That's fine. Okay, so straight into missions. We have the option to buy paint, meet a friend, meet a former unionist. So there's a lot more options now. So we now have paper in our inventory. We also still have 52 marks. So I think we'll send someone to go buy paint. We need empathy in academia, right? We can now buy paint. You need empathy and literacy. So again, that's going to be Gerhard. We'll send him to do that. Meanwhile, I probably need a new member, right? We're up to 24 supporters. Let's go to... I guess let's find a new member. Frida and myself can go do that. We'll see what happens here. I don't know what like the pros and cons or what the order is you should do things. Looks like we lose 1 supporter, 23. We still get 7 more marks. Dedicated. Oh. Something went wrong. Make a decision. Flee, gain no reward, but your members might give away safely. Hide, higher risk of getting caught, but you might get some of the reward. Enforce, higher risk of getting caught, but you'll get the full reward if the mission's successful. Okay, so we went to talk to dedicated supporters to find out if they'd be willing to join our group. Someone's been watching. There's a witness! I don't know what the clock moved. Oh, I probably... Enforce! Let's do whatever it takes. Now it's on us to decide which one should join our group. So we can now pick a new member of our group. We've got Jan Stein, 25-year-old, Stephanie Stein, 26-year-old, and Amelia Badke, 21-year-old. Unemployed attorney for, I don't know what that is, Social Democrat, National Conservative, and Social Democrat. 3, 2, 3, 3. So I prefer someone with more secrecy. Feels like empathy is important. It also feels like academia is important. It seems like Stephanie's the best balance, plus being a lawyer might help, although I don't know if the party of the person influences their effectiveness. We'll pick Stephanie. Meanwhile, Gerhard goes to buy paint. So we get 2 paint. But Gerhard thinks he has been seen. Oh no! It's late and I'm having a drink at a bar at Hackerschein Markt when a man storms through the door yelling, "The Reichstag is burning. The communists have burned down the Reichstag." Run outside. I leave my drink and run outside as fast as I can. Despite the late hour, the streets are full of people. A red glow illuminates the night sky above the Reichstag. I wonder what happened. "What are we all still doing here?" says a woman in a fur coat. "Let's go there and find out what happened." People around her agree, and a group forms. All right, I guess I'll join the group. Walk down to the empty street all the way to the Reichstag. The closer we get, the more intense the smell of smoke and fire gets. Soon, it becomes hard to breathe. Avoid breathing? Well, I can't do that. Pull my scarf over my nose. When we reach the bridge that leads to the Reichstag, we are stopped by the police patrol. Area closed. Leave. Look at the crowds. The other side of the bridge, the Reichstag is ablaze. On our side, more and more curious onlookers gather. Speak to a woman in a fur coat. Talk to a big man. Approach a man wearing a Great War uniform. I have seen enough and go home. How about the man in the Great War uniform? What do you want? Who started the fire? The communists did, and the Jews. Same thing, really. He raises his voice. But this will be their death sentence. This is the last time they attack the German people. Hitler will show no mercy. They are done. Done! I've heard enough. More firefighters arrive. They must have come from all over Berlin. Talk to a big man. Looks like a professional boxer. One who has lost at least as many fights as he has won. This guy looks pretty funny, I'm going to say. So I begin, who do you think did this? Wasn't me, tell you that. Calm down, I didn't say it was you. What's your theory? The Nazis did it. Obviously, they will use this to talk to everyone, or to take everyone out. He looks left and right and leaves. The police now aggressively pushing the crowd back. The boxer is probably pretty close to the truth. Who do you think did this? She asks me as I approach her. That's what I wanted to ask you. How the hell should I know? All I can tell is things have been very unpleasant ever since that aggressive little clown took over. And this looks like his style, but you didn't hear that from me, all right? Of course. People like me are in enough trouble already. People like you seem all right. If you ever feel like dancing to the music our new rulers despise, come by. A dance bar and cabaret. It disappears into the crowd. All right. It's very late when I finally arrive at home. I fall asleep right away and dream of the fire and strange people contradicting each other about who started it. Nothing good will come of this. So you can go to the bar to raise your morale, I guess? We had a +2 return on morale this day. Weekly decline of 1 supporter. The Reichstag is set ablaze. Martial laws declared. The Reichstag fire decree gives the Nazis new powers. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and jump in here and wrap this episode up. This was our first look at a new game out that's called Through the Darkest of Times. It came out today. It's available on Steam. It's by the developer Paint Bucket Games, and it's obviously trying to tell the story of what it's like for those who are fighting against the Nazis as the Nazis are coming to power and consolidating their power. And there's all of these historical events like the Reichstag fire, and there will be others that are occurring throughout the game as you kind of play through. It's an interesting concept. I'm curious how things sort of change as sort of your level of heat, if you will, goes up, and as the authorities become aware of you. Again, it's just a small group of like 3 or 4 people right now that are trying to resist the Nazis. So it kind of gives a sense of futility of trying to talk to people and maybe having supporters, but who's actually willing to do anything about it? Who's going to stick with you through the thick and thin? And what are the different sort of things that you're going to be, subjected to or witness to, knowing what you know about the Nazis and what they did. With that being said, this does seem like a good stopping point, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please let me know your thoughts as always. And until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you for watching. And until next time, I'm out.